so glad. Listen, the reason when you called me the other day, that was not a coincidence. There are no such thing as coincidences. That was a synchronicity.
Hi, I left my purse earlier. Yep.
You were talking about something.
Yeah.
I can take Kyle in and get him in bed and let you and John talk.
Okay. Yeah, Kyle looks hungry.
I'm gonna walk him out to that golf cart.
You are? Do you need help?
Yep. And I'm just gonna move everything out of the way there and take this, put it in the fridge. You want any more corn, John?
No, but it was darn good.
We can eat for breakfast.
Yeah.
Do you need me help
No.
getting Kyle out?
I do not. Actually, it would be a hindrance.
I had this to give you just in case I didn't get a chance to talk to you. It has my name. I will. I put my my number and my email.
Okay.
You need me to hold the door? Dad?
I'm just saying, as I walk him out.
Okay. Hey, yes, you're ready. You're ready. Let me get in front of you. So.
I gotta get down here. Okay. All
Come
right.
on, Kyle. Come on.
Stand up. Hey, John, I'll see you later on. John, do you remember which bedroom?
No, but when I get there,
Yeah.
you'll still be up.
Yeah, I'll be awake. Walk to the golf cart.
Lordy, look who's 40. Kyle. You're doing a good job. Kyle.
You're gonna get in the golf cart. You're gonna get in the golf cart.
And you're gonna get in bed.
Where do you think you are?
Yeah. Oh, it is hot today.
At least it wasn't too humid.
Yeah. Isn't that bad? Whew. Mickey left his phones. Hey, you might need these.
Huh?
You need your phone.
Oh, yeah. I'll keep that.
Is this here still?
Oh, that's mine.
Okay.
I'll wait for him to leave. It's hot out.
Too hot for a sweater, but
Well, this is light. Yeah, I'm concerned about my dad. What are your thoughts?
he's completely sold on this.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder, does he talk about it with anybody else besides you all or me?
Everybody.
He does?
Everyone. He's been in Lowe's, yelling, gathering a following from random people in parking lots.
Does he actually have a following?
Mm-hmm. And it's very heartbreaking for my Uncle Tom, especially, because I'm very close with him. And Tom and John don't talk anymore. And he's been filling Pop-Pop's head, his father, with all this stuff. And it's very confusing for him at 92.
Yeah, your grandfather's a pretty simple guy.
Always been very simple, agreeable,
Mhm.
on some level, right? He's a good listener. But yeah, he's telling everyone. And my sister and I are really concerned. I will be very honest with you. I'm very worried and anxious and stressed out. I pray a lot because I worry about him. And I feel like we need help. And I think we're powerless. I don't think there's anything any of us can do, but I understand that only God can really work here. And I don't have any expectations of God, whatever His will is, right? But I just need help. We need help. We don't know what to do.
Your father's kind of innocent in a way. In other words, he's not someone who seeks to do evil or wrong, even covertly, it seems to me. You know, but sort of uncritical. You know, critical thinking.
Yeah.
What gives him such a powerful attachment to these beliefs? I can't begin to guess. All this, has he been this way for a long time, or is it?
I feel like, Julie and my mom and I talk a lot. I think COVID made things worse. However, he's been drinking for a very long time.
You just got through telling me he hasn't had a beer for 2 years, but he drinks.
You guys.
This is Cameron.
Yes,
So-
this is my son's girlfriend, Cameron. This is Father John Hines.
Hi, Cameron. I'm a
Hi.
priest. I knew I knew her father back
Yes.
when he was in high school.
Aiden's grandfather.
Like 50
Are you
years.
guys gonna take your stuff and go to
Mm.
the house? Okay.
We
It's not bad,
came to say
so-
hi and stuff.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because as soon as we get done eating,
Yeah, we're gonna go to sleep.
immediately go to sleep.
Yeah, because they have
It's
to
like
get up
9
and
o'clock.
swim.
Got
You
you.
have
The
swim
swim meet
tomorrow?
in the
Oh,
morning.
that's
Yeah,
right.
that's swim meet.
I've been told about that.
Yep.
Are you in the swim meet too?
Mhm.
Very good.
I used to.
Really?
No, I swim long
For
distances.
cardio.
Oh.
You know, like exercise.
Mhm.
In the ocean when I can.
In the ocean, even.
Mhm.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
real fun.
Yeah.
Someday I'll meet the dolphins.
Yeah. Scared about the sharks.
Nah. More of a chance of lightning striking than sharks.
Yeah.
But still, people think about it.
I do.
I just don't like the feeling of not knowing like what's beneath me and like the ocean.
That's what scares me. Fear the unknown, where I just can't see if like something's coming up.
Well, it makes me feel a little bit superior to you pool swimmers in one minor respect. Otherwise, I'm envious of you.
Or I'm gonna talk to him. I'll see you guys at the house.
You guys have fun.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice to meet you, Cameron.
It was so nice to meet you.
See ya.
So that I don't know for sure. I don't think that that's true, but that's not my place to say. I just know that he's been drinking for many, many years consecutively, like maybe 25 case a day of beer.
Case a day.
Yes,
That's a lot.
yes, for a very long time.
Anything harder than beer?
So I've always suspected. My mom one time found vodka hidden. So my concern is that it could be more than vodka at this point because she's not finding beer. So I feel like if she's not finding it, then he's not going to admit to it. So if nobody can find it, he's not going to say he's drinking. Look, I'm an alcoholic and I'm in recovery and I have a pretty good understanding of alcoholism and just celebrated 11 years and
Oh, good.
I'm grateful. It's just the grace of God, that I'm here, but I've been paying attention for a long time about what could be going on with him, and I do think that the alcohol is done something to his brain. But then again, the reason you're here is because I'm always interested in what someone else thinks, and so that's why when I said I have concerns, I'm just concerned about what you are seeing.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know as much about the effects of alcohol. I'm an alcoholic too, but
Mhm.
mine didn't emerge till I was 70. In other words, I just tended to overdrink a little bit once in a while. But I wouldn't have associated this kind of fantasy
Mhm.
with alcoholism.
Mhm.
Um, he's a plain, down-to-earth farm boy from Dorchester County. The kind of person we wouldn't expect to be, thinking these
Conspiracy.
I don't know what to call them.
Cult.
Fantastic cult, apocalyptic fantasies.
Yeah.
Why would he? You could say, well, there's a reason, an unconscious motivation or an underlying reason. I have a pretty good idea why people get depressed, but why they get, I wouldn't call it manic, but
Hmm. So does that imply like you see like mental health? It's a mental health issue for him.
I guess so.
Mhm.
He's denying the reality in front of him.
Mhm.
Although he lives a pretty sensible life, I guess. He gets in his car, drives down the street, obeys the traffic signals.
Yes, he doesn't see it as.
Stops at the store, talks to ex-customers, and I would assume he does all that.
Mhm.
So it doesn't interfere with his practical day-to-day life.
His motor functioning isn't really off, so he can, he drives, from what I see, fine. He does drive the golf cart in town with Kyle. We are very, very worried. That adds to my fear that my mom's and my sisters.
It did sound a little bit much.
Yeah, and he is driving a vehicle that has brakes that don't work.
His own car?
Well, the red van. The brakes don't work. He has to downshift. And he has 4 other vehicles that work just fine, but he chooses the one that the brakes don't work, and and he says, well, the med beds are coming, so I'll be taken
Doesn't
care
matter.
of. Right.
That is a departure from reality. I thought he was being kind of realistic in practical matters, but he told me he's not paid taxes since 2019. Oh, that's true. He's departing from.
My mom is terribly, terribly worried about finances, and it's a bad position to be in, especially with Kyle.
Yes.
Just feels like a heavy weight.
Yeah. And he would be this way day in and day out.
All the time.
Like your mother would try to make a point, and he would blow it away and come back with his.
He's very strong-minded, and there's nothing my mom can do. There's absolutely nothing she can do. And I believe that she's trying to honor him, till death do us part. He's had multiple affairs.
Seriously? No, that doesn't sound like, John Harper's I've known. Is that in latter times, or has that been going on?
It's been going on for a long time. I think it's still going on. And I believe it to be the effects of alcohol and alcoholism. Because there's one person he had an affair with that is a very heavy drinker. So I don't call anyone else an alcoholic. That's not my place, but I'm just saying she drinks a lot,
Mhm.
And I think with his drinking alcoholically, I think they made
Mm-hmm.
they had something in common. My mom doesn't drink. She's a very honorable, woman, and I know that this is weighing on her more than anybody because he is at times really unkind to her, and some of this is out of character and it's concerning. I'm sure it is for you, and I'm very sorry. I can't not share it because
Mhm.
I'm concerned,
Absolutely. I
and
would much rather know the truth than anything else.
I'm worried that we're gonna lose him soon.
His health?
Yeah.
Does he have any condition?
Well, I did hear at one time he had an aortic aneurysm in his left leg, my mom said. Now, I don't know if he's getting treatment for that, but he was refusing treatment because of the med beds coming. And then he went off of his blood pressure and cholesterol medication and was drinking lava juice, whatever that is. And I don't know if he's back on his medication. I asked my mom last night, do you think he's back on his medication? And she said she's not sure. She thinks he could be. We don't really know. But he goes on and off medication for like blood pressure and those kinds of things. So no, he's not taking good care of himself at all. And he believes the med beds are coming. So that's going to take care of all of it.
Underneath all this fantasy, there's probably a reason, that profits him to believe all this. Because of what? It gets him off easy from worrying about taxes and health.
Right, sure, it justifies. I just don't know. I don't know what to think anymore, and I don't know what to do, and I don't know how to protect my brother, and I don't know how to help my mom. And it just seems like it's been there's been a lot of really challenging situations for our family for so long. And I know that God has a reason. Sometimes I feel angry with God. And sometimes I just wish he would hurry up and make something happen or change, but I know I can't play God, and I'm not, nor would I ever want to, but it just feels like a heaviness. Just like a heavy burden.
When I was here a year ago, it was mostly about January 6th wasn't really what people thought it was.
It's progressed a lot.
Yeah, and it's a lot more
intense. And Julie and my mom and I, last night we had a conversation. I don't know what exactly happened. I talked to Tom. I don't know whether he stole money from his dad. I don't know what exactly happened, which would also be very unlike his character.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of animosity with the family because they don't want to enable him. They're tired of enabling him. They're like, your behavior's unacceptable. We don't approve of cheating. We don't like this crazy stuff that you're talking about. So his family has isolated him, except for Irene and Jimmy. Those are the only two people he talks to. Occasionally Marion, but she even has pulled away. And so my mom and Julie and I were talking last night, like,
How about Susan?
oh, she is definitely done. And I talk to my Aunt Susan a lot. She refuses to talk about anything, except what they need to talk about, whether it's their mom and dad. But
You talk about his cheating. There's been some cheating or dishonesty.
Yes.
As far as the family goes, about money or something else.
So they're up. What do you mean? Or what are they upset about? They're upset about the cheating. And then recently, within the last 2 months, there was an issue with an account that he started with his dad's name, and he moved his dad's money over to an account in Seaford, and his dad tried to access that money and was denied access to the money, and Tom was trying to figure out what was going on, and my dad wouldn't talk about it, and it was very concerning for my pop-pop because that's his money. And then of course it made Tom really angry. So my sister and I hadn't told my mom this, but we told her last night, and come to find out she already knew that this had happened, but my dad told her a different story. And the three of us, we always get together, and then we talk about, is there anything we can do? This is what's happening. Is there anything we could do? And is there anybody we can talk to? And then we always pray, and then we part ways. And so last night we met, we talked about it. This is what's going on. This is new information. Is there anything we can do right now? My mom's just not willing to consult an attorney, and I want to respect where she's at. And so we prayed, and I just said to my mom, I said, we need to talk to somebody. I think it's very coincidental that Father John Hines is coming tomorrow. I think he needs to know what's going on. So I think she was reluctant initially because my mom feels shame.
Mm-hmm.
My mom feels like what John does is a reflection of me. And I keep telling her that it's not.
Mm-hmm.
That there's people that need to know what's happening. And if they have a conversation with him, they're going to know anyway. So there's no point. We can't hide it anymore. We don't know what to do.
This might all come crashing down on him, you know, in the near future.
Yes.
I don't know. It seems hard to sustain such an intense paranoia, you know, for too long. I don't know if it's paranoia. Paranoia usually means some element of fear, like I'm being threatened by.
He doesn't seem to feel threatened.
No, he feels very happy.
Yes, he feels very happy. Yes, it's very realistic to him. And I wonder if there's some type of alcoholic delusion happening. His brain has been altered in some way by alcohol, like brain damage.
Heavy drinking's been going on for like 10, 20,
Long
30
long
years.
time.
Yeah.
A long time. Even if he hasn't been drinking lately, I just have to wonder, and I question what has the effects of alcohol done to his brain so far.
Well, you're a counselor, so you've seen a lot.
Yeah.
When it gets this close to home, it's hard to
hard.
It's perspective.
Because I feel like I need help. I feel like we need help. I don't know what to do. And I know that my dad is the kind of person that before, when I knew him, if there was somebody in need, he helped them. But now it almost feels impossible to help him. And that breaks my heart.
He seems to have a natural kindness, although I can see where he gets short with your mother.
Yeah, they're not getting along. And I mean, it's gotten kind of like bad.
You know, I can make it a point to keep in touch with him. I can't, any direct contradiction to what he, the most I can say is I'm a skeptic about everything you're telling me. You know. I trust you in the interpersonal sense as a friend, but I don't trust what you're saying.
Right.
That's about as honest as I can say it.
Right.
Or I'll keep in touch with him. I'll call him every 2 weeks or 4 weeks, just to talk. He was so glad to have me come because he had important things to tell me.
And now you're like, dang it. Oh, I'd like to go home now. That was a lot to throw at you.
He hasn't been involved with church for quite a while, I guess.
No, and he went to church with the other woman, telling the pastor that he wanted to divorce my mom and marry this other woman.
He was still under the influence.
Huh?
Was he
What
still?
is-
Sounds like he was still under the influence.
He was still under the influence. And, look, I don't want to, I struggle with a lot of guilt because I'm not a perfect person either. And I've made a lot of mistakes. And I can be selfish and egotistical and self-centered and all of those things I can be. When I was drinking and, stealing from them and being unkind. And I caused them so much fear. So I feel guilty even talking about this,
Mm-hmm.
But this is because I'm concerned and I love it.
Yeah.
I really do love it.
Yeah, he told me several times he loves me. I said, you'll be my friend always. Just your ideas that
Don't agree with. It started with Trump. and then it kind of went from there. You know, it was like this obsession with Trump. Um, and then it just kind of snowballed into COVID stuff. It just continued to get worse. And I try sometimes to sit with him and just like listen or validate. You know, I'm not going to tell him, oh, I think you're wrong. You know what I mean? I'm just going to listen to him. And sometimes I try to do that just to show like love and forgiveness. And sometimes I struggle with listening because I feel so much anxiety, energy of anxiety on the inside. So then I think, oh, I just can't do it today. You know, I can't be around him today. But again, I'm worried about Kyle on the golf cart. I'm worried about my mom because she's kind of, you know, she's living with it every day and just feels so powerless. And then of course I worry about my dad and his health.
Well,
And yes, should I be what he, you know, at my age and at his age, and that would be a natural thing, but this is out of the norm. This is out of the norm worry. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, this is not the average. Are you hearing about any other people that are involved with like QAnon cults or?
no, people know me as much as they know me from what I preach and what I talk about in church as being kind of progressive, shall we say.
Uh-huh.
So if they have any of those, I guess you'd call them
Far out
Protocol.
beliefs.
far out on the right wing, they would consider me hopeless to, to reveal their fantasies to them.
Well,
if in fact they actually think about it.
yeah, John didn't seem too worried about that. It almost seems like he's trying to convince you.
Yeah.
Did you feel that way? Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. That's how I feel too.
It's the person who doesn't harbor some doubts about their strongest convictions, or at least their direction they're taking, is hard to deal with. It's a kind of ignorance.
Yeah,
It's easier to deal with bad will than with ignorance.
yeah,
Bad will, the person kind of can see that, well, I was acting wrongly.
yes.
But when it's ignorance, it's like,
You can't talk to them. Yeah, it's like that show, Dr. House, MD. I used to watch that show. You know, he's a doctor, and he went into the patient, and the patient said, I think I'm going crazy, doc. And he said, you're not going crazy. Crazy people think they're sane. So I know you're not going crazy. You know, kind of the same thing. It's just that ignorance. It's the lack of self-awareness.
yeah, I would say I wasn't a strong suit with your father's, as I knew him. A good-hearted, plain, down-to-earth guy, extrovert. Not a great deal of self-critical, awareness.
Yeah.
So he probably would never get depressed. Or if he, whatever would make other people depressed, he would probably take out in other ways, maybe do drinking.
Yeah. I've thought about that.
Yeah. Men will act out more often than not to handle depression. What would he be depressed about if he?
The only thing I could think of would be Kyle.
Kyle's future.
But, I mean, Kyle's 40. I mean, that's a long time to... I mean, we know that people can be depressed about things for a very long time.
He seems to be genuinely cheerful about Kyle.
He is genuinely cheerful about Kyle. But Kyle also doesn't challenge him. I don't think that my dad really likes someone that says no. I think he needs people around him that praise him and love him and say how wonderful he is. And I think he needs that. And I think there's a wound deep down. And I think it was probably his grandfather, James Sr., on the farm that wounded him.
A stern old preacher.
My pop-up Jimmy's dad, the James on the farm,
James,
and Edna.
yeah. He was pretty critical guy.
Yeah, I think he was very unkind to my dad. I think he was really mean, and I think that's probably where it started. And I think he's always felt like a need to prove to other people that he's enough, or he's bigger or smarter, or he wants to prove that, or I'm a good person. Like a high need to prove that. So, I don't know what's going on. And yet, whether it's 3 things or all of them, right? I just don't know what to do. And I know that you probably don't either, so, calling him would be wonderful.
Yeah, I can do that.
Certainly.
I'll keep in touch with you, too.
Praying for us, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would really appreciate it, because I just really want God's will, because I know that's the best way to go. If I get involved, I tend to mess things up.
Look, I will keep in touch.
Yes, you have my number and my email.
Dear Lord, give us each wisdom and fortitude to walk the path with John and
Yes,
to
God.
help him find you in the path he treads. Through Christ our Lord.
Amen. Why don't you get inside where it's cool?
It isn't really that hot.
Actually, you're right. It is kind of a nice
It is.
breeze.
Yeah, the fan only goes.
And you've probably traveled all kinds of places.
Well, I have in my long life.
Yeah?
Yeah, I guess
Places-
Brazil and
Yeah, I was just gonna
India,
say, like,
where-
what was I thinking? Not jungle, but I guess jungle, like more jungle.
not necessarily jungle, but heavy vegetation. Oh, Guatemala.
Yeah? Wow.
Guatemala. I guess I would say the coastland of Guatemala was the hottest and most humid of anywhere I've been.
Yeah.
That's where they grow the sugar cane and the bananas and things like that.
I've never been married. Never been married. And, I made the decision, after I had my children. I did have them, out of wedlock. And their dad was abusive. Physically abusive. So it was good I didn't marry him. I needed to get away. But the reason I'm saying that is because I really enjoy the freedoms that I have in not being married, in being able to just kind of like go where God wants me to go. Like a freedom to kind of talk to people, or
Kind of a calling.
sort of. It's like I always wanted to get married, but then I got to a place where I felt like, I don't know, I guess I feel like, would I be able to be the person that I am if I was?
Yeah.
As, like, I would go to Walmart and, maybe talk to someone or help them, and it takes an extra hour. That would cause conflict with a spouse. Do you know what I mean? And so,
Sure.
I enjoy being able to just kind of, like, help people,
Mm-hmm.
Well,
there's something of that in the life of a priest, for not being married.
that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying it.
Yeah, it's a vocation.
I kind of sort of understand that. I think there's a level of peace and serenity that comes with it. Maybe, you have moments where you might feel alone, but it goes away quick. Do you ever
the
feel alone?
Oh, yeah. The experience of being there for a person in a time of great need leaves a great, I don't know what to call it, peace, or
Mhm.
joy.
A
or
fulfillment of something.
fulfillment. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are the moments, for the most part, that I cherish the most as a priest. Most priests would probably say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you. I don't know if we'll see you in the morning, but it was good to see you today.
Yes, Lord. Enjoyed talking.
Yeah, I appreciate you because I didn't know what I was gonna do. I thought I felt like an open door, you know, to talk to somebody about what's going on with John.
Mm-hmm.
You've known him for a long time, so
Well, I know him more now.
yeah.
Or maybe it's not the real him. So,
I don't know if it's anymore.
they were.
You going this way or that way?
I'll go that way.
Okay. All right. See ya. Sleep well.